The original Opel Mokka had sharp styling, keen prices, and it sold in spades. For the new Mokka, Opel has again focused on design. This really is a significant new look for the Mokka because it previews the new design direction that pretty much all other Opels will follow. At the front you get the visor, which is a new grille and headlight treatment. The new Mokka is wider and lower than the car it replaces, giving it a more dynamic stance, with the wheelbase growing by 2mm. The Mokka is the crossover alternative to the Corsa and the Astra. It's for people who want something flashier than a Super Mini, but are moving away from family hatchbacks. The Mokka is a car that's best suited to couples and young families, but would need a little more space to cope with 4 adults on a regular basis. The boot capacity, meanwhile, is a respectable 350 litres. It's matched by the Renault Captur, which has also got a sliding rear bench, which allows you to prioritise passenger space and the low bay. The Mokka is based on the CMP platform, which also supports the Opel Corsa, Peugeot 208 and the new Citroën C4, which means that Opel can offer this car in a choice of petrol, diesel or pure electric versions. Inside, the dash is dominated by a twin display layout. There are conventional heating controls too, so the touchscreen technology is being used in the right places. In the SRI you get the red sporty highlights and some carbon fibre effect. You get some hardened textured finishes and of course that piano black lacquer for that premium effect. The petrol version is expected to make up around 3/4 of the Mokka's sales. It's a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder engine producing 99 brake horsepower, or you can also get the 128 brake horsepower version. The diesel option has a 1.5 litre motor producing 99 brake horsepower as well, and of course there's a 134 brake horsepower all electric. The SRI trim is the sportiest version of this new Mokka. So, along with those red flashes in the interior, you also get 18-inch alloy wheels, but it also comes with more useful equipment such as heated seats, automatic wipers, a reversing camera and rear parking sensors. The higher powered petrol engine seems happy enough to cope with a car of the Mokka's size without ever actually feeling very rapid. The 8-speed automatic gearbox is also very good at smooth shifting. If you do want to get a move on though, you do have to rev the engine to the point where you will hear the little 3-cylinder engine whir. Even when fitted with the 18-inch wheels, the Mokka is pretty comfortable around town, soaking up bumps and potholes without disturbing its occupants too much. At higher speeds, the suspension can struggle a little bit, but overall it stays composed and fairly refined, with only some tyre roar really noticeable. The interior is just as much of a forward step as the exterior. It swaps the traditional layout of the Mokka X for a crisp, minimal design with lots of horizontal lines that accentuate the interior's width. In the place of the analogue dials Opel had been using for years, there's now a digital instrument panel and a touchscreen that sits side by side. This is what Opel calls its pure panel display, and the size of the screen grows depending on which trim level the buyer chooses. Lower trims get 2 7-inch screens, growing to 10 inches for the central display and 12 inches for the digital dash in top versions. It's quick to respond and comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both of which better than the sat-nav preloaded in the car. It's a promising setup, with Opel fitting physical rotary dials and switches for the heater and climate controls rather than incorporating them into the touchscreen, which makes them easy to reach and operate while driving. For the most part, the CMP chassis is able to cope with bumps and potholes pretty well, even on larger wheels, but when you get up to higher speeds, the increased frequency of input can catch it out a bit. Opel hasn't skimped on safety kit either, loading the Mokka with standard autonomous emergency braking, which is active up to 80 km an hour. Top trims also gain features such as blind spot monitoring and LED matrix headlights, which adapt to the road and traffic conditions. Every engine in the Mokka is fairly efficient by nature. This is by virtue of being small and turbocharged. Like other models with the same underpinnings, the Mokka feels safe and secure. It doesn't prioritise driver involvement though. The steering response feels more natural than in some of its Peugeot and Citroën cousins, but it still lacks in communication and feedback. There's a sport mode, but selecting this only boosts the volume of the engine without necessarily making it sound better. Body lean is kept under control, which is a good thing in a car with a raised ride height. It's barely noticeable unless you start to drive the Mokka beyond its comfort zone, at which point the front tyres are likely to protest and the car will understeer.